Have you ever wondered what it takes to remain unwavering in the face of relentless opposition? Can you imagine enduring physical beatings, multiple imprisonments, shipwrecks, and constant threats to your life, all for the sake of your beliefs? What kind of resilience does it require to maintain your faith and mission when every step forward is met with fierce resistance? The Apostle Paul, one of the most influential figures in early Christianity, faced such extraordinary challenges throughout his ministry. His life is a testament to the power of faith and the strength of conviction. Join us as we delve into the remarkable story of Paul's hardships and discover the profound legacy he left behind. The Apostle Paul's life, as documented in his epistles and the Acts of the Apostles, paints a vivid picture of relentless hardship, persecution, and unwavering faith. His detailed account in 2 Corinthians 11 verses 23 to 28 encapsulates the breadth of his sufferings. From his dramatic conversion on the road to Damascus to his eventual martyrdom, Paul's journey was marked by a series of life-threatening challenges and extreme adversities, which he endured with remarkable resilience. Paul's dramatic conversion on the road to Damascus was just the beginning of his trials. Originally a zealous Pharisee known as Saul, he actively persecuted Christians, believing he was defending Jewish law. This background made his transformation into a Christian apostle particularly dramatic. After his conversion, Paul faced immediate death threats from Jewish leaders in Damascus who viewed him as a traitor. His escape in a basket through a city wall underscores the dangerous environment he immediately found himself in. Upon returning to Jerusalem, Paul struggled to gain the trust of the Christian community. They were understandably skeptical, knowing his reputation as a fierce persecutor. It was Barnabas who vouched for Paul, helping to integrate him into the community. Despite this, Paul's bold preaching continued to attract hostility. This early period was marked by a precarious balance between gaining acceptance and evading those who sought his life. Paul's recounting of his physical sufferings is both harrowing and extensive. He was flogged 5 times by Jewish authorities, each time receiving 40 lashes minus 1. This brutal punishment involved whipping with a scourge made of leather thongs embedded with sharp objects like bone or metal, causing excruciating pain and leaving lasting scars. Additionally, Paul was beaten with rods 3 times, a punishment meted out by Roman authorities, which could result in broken bones and severe internal injuries. In Lystra, Paul was dragged outside the city and stoned and left for dead. Stoned by an angry mob, an event that typically resulted in death. Miraculously, Paul survived, though the stoning left him severely injured. His survival and immediate return to preaching underscore his extraordinary resilience and unwavering dedication. Paul's numerous imprisonments highlight the persistent opposition he faced. He was frequently imprisoned, experiencing harsh conditions that would break many. In Philippi, after being severely beaten, Paul and Silas were placed in the inner prison with their feet fastened in stocks. Despite their dire situation, they sang hymns and prayed, which led to a miraculous earthquake that freed them and resulted in the conversion of the jailer and his household. In Caesarea, Paul spent 2 years in Roman custody, awaiting trial. During this time, he defended his faith before governors Felix and Festus, and King Agrippa. Despite the prolonged confinement and uncertain future, Paul continued to witness to his guards and visitors, using every opportunity to preach the gospel. Paul's final imprisonment in Rome was under house arrest for 2 years. Though this allowed him some freedom to preach and receive visitors, he lived under constant guard and faced significant restrictions. During this period, he wrote several epistles that are now part of the New Testament, providing guidance and encouragement to the early Christian communities. Paul's missionary journeys were fraught with danger. He survived 3 shipwrecks, each a harrowing experience. In Acts 27, one of the shipwrecks is described in detail. Paul was en route to Rome when a violent storm struck, lasting 2 weeks and driving the ship off course. Eventually, the ship was wrecked on the island of Malta. Paul and the other passengers were forced to swim to shore, narrowly escaping death. On Malta, Paul was bitten by a venomous snake but miraculously suffered no ill effects, further demonstrating his remarkable resilience. Paul faced dangers from numerous sources, both natural and human. He mentions being in danger from rivers and bandits, common threats for travelers of his time. He was also continually threatened by his fellow Jews who opposed his teachings, viewing him as a heretic. Gentiles, particularly those whose livelihoods were threatened by his message against idolatry, also posed significant threats. Paul faced opposition from local authorities, religious leaders, and sometimes even from within the Christian community itself. Physical deprivation was a constant aspect of Paul's ministry. He often went without food and water, experiencing hunger and thirst. He labored tirelessly, often losing sleep and enduring extreme physical exhaustion. Paul describes being cold and naked, lacking adequate clothing and shelter. These conditions highlight the severe physical hardships he willingly endured for the sake of spreading the gospel. Beyond physical sufferings, Paul faced immense psychological and emotional strain. He speaks of the daily pressure of his concern for all the churches, reflecting the burden of his leadership role. Paul was deeply invested in the well-being of the early Christian communities, dealing with their disputes, doctrinal issues, and the threat of false teachings. This constant stress, coupled with the isolation and misunderstanding he often faced, added to his emotional burden. He was frequently misunderstood and maligned, both by those outside the faith and within the Christian community. This added a layer of psychological stress to his already overwhelming physical trials. Paul's final hardship culminated in his execution by beheading under Emperor Nero's persecution of Christians. This ultimate sacrifice marked the end of a life filled with suffering for his faith. Despite relentless persecution, beatings, imprisonments, and threats to his life, Paul's unwavering commitment to spreading the gospel never faltered. His resilience under extreme adversity continues to inspire and shape Christian faith. Paul's life and writings have left a profound impact, demonstrating that true dedication often comes with significant sacrifice. His legacy is a testament to the strength of his convictions and his unyielding faith in the transformative power of Christ. Paul's letters, many written during his imprisonments, form a significant part of the New Testament and provide theological insights and practical guidance that continue to shape Christian doctrine and practice. His perseverance through relentless adversity serves as a powerful example of steadfast faith and commitment to one's mission.